It's time for Horsepower, Chrome, and Rust, the greatest automotive podcast in the known world, with Ron Foreman, Brady Wright, and Steve Johan. Let's find out what's going on this week. What in the world is going on? I hope your Labor Day weekend went good. This is Tuesday, September 8th, 2020. And Brady Wright, Ron Foreman, your host, Steve Johan, the producer. Literally millions of listeners because everybody is too tired to do anything else, sunburned from the weekend. Yeah. So this is the 152nd episode of Horsepower, Chrome, and Rust. We are, as you well know, on iTunes and iHeart Radio and Spotify and Podomatic.com and a whole bunch of other ones. Daily, Steve is finding new podcast sites where we are propagated, and I can barely spell propagated, so, you know, it's the biggest word I've used this week. Thanks for liking and following our Facebook page. All the latest shows are getting there, and many, many more than used to be are on video, which is really frightening because then I can see how old I actually look. This is actually scary.
You look pretty good for your age.
Oh, don't start with the for your age. Jeez, now you're
I used to think anybody over 50 was old, and then when I
hit 50,
it's like
50's not so bad.
No, not at all.
So our first segment is always back to the blacktop, and that's where Steve rummages around in the glove compartment and comes up with automotive news and information as usual. And today he has something that is so amazing, I don't even know what it is.
Well,
that's two of us.
Yes. Well, update on the Nikola Motors. They are teaming up with General Motors in a $2 billion deal that the two new partners say will save them billions of dollars while helping bring new zero-emissions vehicle technology to the market at lower costs. But as part of the deal, it rolls out like this. GM plans to produce the Nikola Badger truck while providing both batteries and fuel cell systems for both the Nikola pickup and the Class 7 and Class 8 semi-trucks Nikola is developing.
Stop it. Wait a minute. The truck is called what? The Badger?
We don't need no stinking badgers.
No, I like it. That's really great. That's
Badger.
like the honey badger.
Yes.
Honey badger don't care.
Well,
I like it.
It is Badger. So GM is receiving $2 billion worth of stakes within the company. That's 11%
billion
stake in that, 11% ownership of the company and
like
kind services.
It's more money than I have in my pocket right now.
But let's listen to this. Founded in 2014, Nikola has yet to produce its first commercial product.
I love this.
That's 6 years to have fun building prototypes based on investor money.
Yeah.
So what
I
take from this
no kidding
is a ton of tax breaks for both companies, keep investors happy, and keep their fun factory chugging along another couple of years while they continue to promise more amazing hybrid vehicles to come to the showroom in some distant point of the future.
R&D is a great...
It is.
I don't want to say scam because it's not. I mean, if you're actually researching and developing something, but boy, it's a way to spend money without actually having a product.
Oh, and there are many companies who have done this.
You know what? One of them is called Indiegogo.
Yes.
And they actually are a website. I hate to promote them, but I'm going to. They do... pre-funding and stuff for all kinds of cool new inventions. There's one guy that's making a new multi-tool that he's been fronting for a year and a half, and eventually have it, but it's kind of cool.
Sounds
a lot of
like
money
it.
up front.
Well, speaking of partnerships, GM has and will continue to expand its partnership with Honda Motor Company to work to build battery-built vehicles. See, here's this common denominator here. Seems to me anything related
money
to...
for nothing.
Yes, anything related to electric has become a joint venture so as to spread out the pain of building electrified cars, something the vast majority of the public have shown very little interest in purchasing, thus providing and proving there's very little profits in that sector. And yet they're being coerced, forced, mandated by the governments around the world. Encouraged.
Yes.
And so what they're saying is, fine, we'll put in this money and we'll kind of do these like little jump the hoop kind of things.
Because then we can say that we're doing this cool new technology.
That's exactly
let's start our own electric car company.
I think we should
do that.
I think we should.
I think we could.
Yeah.
Ron Power.
No. The Brady Mobile.
Ooh.
It'll all be pre-1970s vehicles retrofitted with electric. And we're
Gremlins.
Electric.
Let's gather up all the gremlins.
Well, we're going to get electric motors that are double the horsepower of the Teslas so that we can really put killer machines together.
Electric Tuckers. Tucker
Yes.
torpedoes.
Can you imagine your wife's car with a 1,000 horsepower electric motor?
I can imagine the frame falling out on the ground.
Let's go drifting. There's no frame.
But we do
yeah,
know,
no kidding.
and we will get him back on, there is a great guy building the electrified Broncos. And,
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's right.
but those are
Those
unique,
really cool.
and he's doing it right.
Well, the
So-
67 to 77
That's right.
Broncos, the single most popular of the
they
early
are.
SUVs. I mean, I hate to say SUVs, but that's really what they were. In fact, I saw one. We were in Coeur d'Alene over the weekend, Idaho, and I saw a really nice one on the street, original, all that.
Was it brown?
No, it was blue.
All right.
That Bronco blue.
Yep.
And like it was in a used car lot for sale, and I went back just to see like what that thing
Wow.
is going for. It was a 70, and the guy wanted $4,000. It ran.
What?
Whoa.
I went, I wonder if I got four.
I know.
Checking my sock to see if I got it.
Yeah.
I came awful close. I didn't have any
Man.
way to get it back. Or I might have done
Did you happen to go through Kellogg?
it. No, we didn't.
Because you didn't get to that far.
No.
Because that's where the big dealer that
Dave Smith?
Dave Smith.
Oh, Dave has 900 dealerships. We saw
Yes.
about 6 of them while we were there.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, 2 individuals get nailed for not rendering unto Caesar his dues. Mario Parlato
Don't ever say that.
and Gigi.
didn't.
Let's just say Mario and Gigi
Yeah, there you are.
of Miami, Florida, and
Thank
Washington,
you.
D.C. Pleaded guilty to 1 count of subscribing to false tax returns in court because they have basically been buying supercars. And
Ooh.
they are steering limited edition supercars to a select subscriber customer base. So they you know, our guest who we had from up in Ferndale who brings these special imports.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's kind of doing the same thing. They work these in
Right.
between. Well, but he's pocketing the difference of the
Of
actual
course he is.
price
Of course he is.
and the going price that he gets for it.
I'm pretty
and he's
sure
not
that's
reporting that.
illegal. I'm almost sure
Yeah,
that
so-
that would be a crime.
Especially if it's a business.
It is a business,
Yeah, you can't
but
do
you know
that.
he got nailed. They got nailed, and so
You'd be better off just not paying your taxes as opposed to trying to fudge them,
I know.
Yeah.
because they'll follow you.
They'll find you.
They will find you. Isn't that how they took down the big mobster guy? Capone?
Yeah,
That's
tax
Willie
evasion.
Nelson.
And Willie Nelson got
Willie.
nailed.
Poor
Yeah.
Willie.
Well, we won't start going through the
No.
whole laundry list of well-known people.
Willie came back.
As new vehicle sales continued suffering because of the medical martial law being imposed upon the public, manufacturers are banking on new products to help them stay afloat, as in the new Dodge Ram trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And they're coming out with a new version of the 1500 Ram, 2500 and 3500 heavy-duty models, featuring various options and personalizations, and they're called the limited night editions.
They're a really great job of marketing. You know, they don't say Dodge anymore.
No, they say Ram.
They are just Ram. They rebadged the whole
Yep.
thing.
I
If
want
you-
to change the M to a T.
Rat.
Rat.
Now, how much do you think these things start out at?
well, they're about
25,000.
Yeah, 22, 25.
No, $62K.
Oh, you're
Holy
talking about,
crap.
wait,
The
you're talking
Ram.
about the well, not the Ram, the basic Ram. isn't
1500.
that much.
I'm talking about the limited night
yeah.
edition
Oh,
Ram
No, don't know.
1500.
So what's so special about it?
It's all blacked out. Right?
It's got all sorts of specially painted
Oh.
colors and different options you can order. And it begins at $62,000.
Well, you know,
Think of the Ford Raptor.
well,
I mean, that
Lincoln
thing's,
did
again,
that.
is
Lincoln
doing-
did that several years ago with the Blackwood.
That's right.
That was their pimped up,
Oh, yeah.
pickup truck that you had
Limited,
to have,
like
except
the
it
Cadillac.
wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
I mean, Lincoln shouldn't have been making pickup trucks in the first place.
Wasn't the Cadillac Escalade, which was the Suburban?
Well, yeah, but they
that
sold a
blown
ton
out?
of Escalades.
I know.
But so this one, so what's the special?
Well, it's
deal with
just
the Ram?
called the limited night editions, and it's going to have a lot of personalizations. You can options.
Night as in KN.
Yes.
So does it talk to you?
NIGHT.
Is it Kit?
No. Knight Rider.
Come on,
God, now that would be a cute thing. Ram Rider.
you're killing me.
Ramrodder. They
No,
could call it the
no,
Ramrodder.
There's too many-
Ramrodder edition.
There's too many bad jokes in there. I don't think we don't even want to go.
The Ramrodder.
Even,
Rrr.
no, stop.
Sounds like a porn star.
I don't even want to know.
I think there. Never mind.
if
We
you,
won't
if you
go
buy
down
one,
that
then
right.
you got to get a mustache. It's,
yeah.
There's no secret.
gold
Well,
chains,
that's
all
all
that stuff.
No, I'm talking about the Cowboys. Come on.
You can't save
Cowboys.
this. Good try, but you're not going to save this. Seriously though, $62K.
$62K. Start
That
off.
actually isn't bad. That's not bad for a special edition truck.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Coming up on the Windshield View, we're going to talk with a guy whose business is making your ride shine. Huh? You like that?
Shine.
Horsepower, Chrome, and Rust continues. Stick with us.
My mind's out of gear, and my heart's in overdrive. I've everything to fear. I ain't never been more alive.
Horsepower, Chrome, and Rust is back with the first half of the Windshield View, featuring our guest, Tyran Shine.
That's it.
Owner of Shine Automotive Detailing.
Automobile detailing, Tyran.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah. So I gotta say, first off, Tyran Shine is the best possible name for a guy who's got a mobile detailing shop.
Shine, I love it.
Yeah.
But I also gotta tell how Tyran and I got hooked up. Every night, and sometimes a couple of times a day, I take my dogs up to the local off-leash dog park, and they love playing around with it. Because I got a dog that's half pit bull, and Tyran's got a dog that is complete pit bull.
Oh yeah, she's big.
She's
big.
Well, so how old is?
She's 4 months.
She's
and
4 months.
Like 40 pounds.
She's
right
this
now.
gigantic and really gorgeous light gray and white pit bull with a little pink nose. She's got blue eyes.
Don't
just
forget the blue eyes.
No,
That's what get 'em.
just a gorgeous dog. And so, we strike up a conversation. Then I find out he's got a car business. Say, well, you got to come on the show because this is clearly, it's
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
with
good
it.
thing. But
I'm
yeah,
here.
so I guess the first question is how did you get into doing auto detailing? Because it's kind of a specialized sort of thing to do.
Well, shoot, back home where I'm from, this is kind of like we get up and do this every day. So for fun, we don't be thinking about making money off of it because this is what I used to just wake up doing. Just let me wake up and just detail my car and just
So where's
go
home?
for a ride. Hobbs, New Mexico.
Hobbs,
Long
New
way
Mexico.
away
New
from
Mexico.
here. Yes, sir.
Hobbs,
Wow.
Hobbs sounds like a thriving population center.
5,000?
I don't know. It's probably bigger. It's bigger than that. I mean, it's a little bigger. It's
Is it a suburb or someplace?
yeah,
bigger.
It's like it's like 4 hours away from Albuquerque.
Oh, okay.
3
so
hours away from El
all right.
Paso.
So you're in the desert up there.
Yeah, I'm in there where it's hot, dirt, all that.
You had to
Straight
detail a
That's
lot.
why he's
Yeah.
doing
There's
it
a
every
lot of
day.
dust.
and
That's
then
good.
and then on top of that, that's why I said every morning you wake up, you just get up and
Yeah.
do
Might as
something
well
to your
detail your
car.
car,
You might as
yeah.
well detail it because it's dusty for sure. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
and then
Well,
I
that's
just
cool.
came out here 2 years ago, and I just
Yeah.
like, man, I didn't know what to do when I came out here. So I was like, man, I'm gonna do what I know, and I
Yeah.
know how to detail. A lot of people got cars,
There are a lot
So,
of cars around here.
a lot of
Pretty
money to
much
be
there.
made. So I'm just trying to make some.
Well, it's kind of
That is
cool because
cool.
people think, well, you wash your car and you wipe down the seats and that's pretty much it. But
No, it
if
goes deep.
if you've ever been to or contracted an auto detailer, I mean, they got tools that you never see and tricky, toothbrushes.
I watch them on
and-
YouTube sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I
they
can't
spend
even.
hours on the internet showing you how to do it. So just imagine how it is in real, So it's a lot of stuff people think their cars are clean, and then they call me and I'll be like, "And you spent 3 hours still on top of what I did? Yeah, your car wasn't as clean as you thought it was, but now
Yeah.
you good to go. Now I guarantee you good to go."
So where do you start with getting a
Yeah.
car? Because I mean, obviously you can wash the exterior, but that's really not it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people like the inside, so I like to take it real down to the deep, get the shampoo and all that, and get all the grit and everything out. All the little corners. Some people really take it into detail about how they want their cars. It's unbelievable how some people are, but you got people like us that know how to get to it and get it right. So my favorite is the exterior, like you said. So a lot of people like the outside of their car shining and clean, so I like to get it right. So I spend all my hours on that. But don't forget the inside, though, because people like to sit in there and also be comfortable. When you get in your car, you want to feel comfortable. Like I tell everybody all the time, you can't just get in your car. Don't you feel, when it's dirty, don't you feel dirty, So when I get in my car, I like to feel clean, so I feel comfortable, put me confidence. I know what I'm doing,
Sure.
So that's why I like to clean them. And I hope when I do everybody else's, I want them to feel like that when they get in there, Feel confident when you get in here. Drive up. Just like I did a lady's car today. I'm starting my job today. I need to feel clean when I pull up. Well, look, you called the right person. Because this is what I like. I felt like I did extra on her car because she wanted to feel like that. So I was
Right.
like, okay. She's passionate, and I love to be passionate about it. So that's how I am about it.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that
cool.
because what you're saying is, and I didn't even thought about that. You've got people that do a lot of sales, or they're in their car a lot, but they want to be presentable because they're presentable when they're going in to make their connections.
Exactly.
And then when you're in a car and you really it's dirty. And, because I did a little detailing on my wife's car, because she drives around from patient to patient. But hers is a rolling medical unit, basically. And so she gets tons of stuff in there, so we have to clean it out.
Yeah,
Sure.
And I was down there doing some of the corners, and I thought, boy, if I was a detailer, you'd be in there with the shampooer, and you'd be sucking in the seats. Boy, the seats could really come over with.
Well, in the right
in between, like people's seats, they fold up. So a lot of people just go and they just sweep over it. Now you got to get in there. You got to scrub that stuff
unfold
up
the
out of
seat.
there. Yeah,
That's
unfold
where
it.
That's where you find all the dog biscuits.
Exactly.
And the other
A
stuff.
lot of people don't do it.
Spare
A lot of people
change.
won't get that deep.
French
you know what I'm
fries.
saying? Yeah. You
Yeah.
find a lot of stuff, man. You got to get down and dirty with it sometimes.
Well,
So
I actually have a semi-clean car story, or a story about a semi-clean car. It's a clean story, believe me.
Right.
Not
But
like the
this
last segment.
this actually goes back to a woman I knew as a realtor. And she, took people out to look at houses, and she was doing reasonably high-end houses at one particular point, and she took this guy out for a showing, and he was pretty well-connected sort of a guy, a lot of money. He was a Microsoft, he had $1.50 to spend. And she was driving him around in her car. Now, her car was a Honda Accord. It wasn't brand new. It was a couple of years old, but, a fairly decent car as cars go.
Mm-hmm.
But she was one of those people who kind of kept stuff in the back seat. Like, there would be an empty water bottle, or just the kind of stuff
A
that
phone
Yep.
book 2 years old.
yeah,
can't
stuff
have
like
it
that.
like that,
Yeah,
man.
leftover, stuff. And so he, at one point, she was going to take him for another showing, and he said, "We can take my car."
because her car was dirty.
Yeah, and she didn't quite get it, and he said, "Yeah, it's just I think my car's cleaner than yours." And oh God, she was like,
Furious.
like devastated.
Sure.
And she called up a guy. I wish she'd been in town at that point, but this was years ago. But she called up a guy, and he came out and just absolutely, pimped her car.
Right.
And
He was
she
ready to ride then.
She went to pick the guy up, and he says, "Oh, this is much nicer." And he was subtle about it, but you knew exactly what it was. I don't want to
yeah.
ride in this Castbox.
My
I
son
just
does
don't.
Ubering, for instance.
Yeah,
And he is pretty.
yeah.
He gets in there, and when he first got it, he outfitted it out. He put some digital lighting in the back underneath the seats, so that when they get in there, if you drop something, they could see down there.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
you don't realize how many
They're not
people
gonna
drop
pick it
their
up.
cell phone, and
They're
they
not
can't
gonna-
find their cell phone. By having those little digital
It
lighting,
helped out.
it helps them
Yeah.
find what they're.
But then if you put in the lights,
But
then
he's
got to
keep it clean.
Yeah, it's got to be
'Cause
clean.
everything
That's
the
what I'm
light's gonna
saying.
light-
You
yeah.
got-
Yeah,
If he
he's
got
not-
trash on the floor,
It's going to show it.
He's
tell
not
see
the
it.
cleanest
just
guy
tell your son
either.
to call me, man. I'll take care of it for
Yeah.
him, man.
There you go.
I'll take care of it for him, man. Just tell
So-
him to get a hold to me.
Wrong.
so I was just going to ask. Everybody's standard like personal driving car is one thing, and clean is clean. I mean, there's kind of no one definition of clean. It's whatever you want it to be.
Right.
But we know a lot of people who have custom cars and
Yep.
hot rods, show cars that are literally a statement of wealth,
Art.
Right.
and art. And those people, they want a car clean enough that you could eat off any available surface.
Right.
And I know you do that, but that starts, way different from clean up my car so I can drive it and not feel ashamed, right?
Yeah, right.
You
It's-
do show
I mean,
cars?
Yes, I do show cars. I do any kind of cars, actually. So it don't even really matter. So whatever anybody want to get clean, I can clean it for you.
Yeah.
Hot
Well,
rods, whatever.
I want to talk about some of the products and stuff that you use,
Okay.
and
And
some
the steps.
specialized tools and steps and stuff. We're getting kind of down here to where we need to take a break, but
Okay.
I definitely we're going to talk about hot rods and show cars here, because that's something that a lot of the people that listen to the show are going to want to know, stuff like that. Plus,
Yes, sir.
of course, we're going to want to know how to get a hold of you, and we'll cover that as
Yep.
we get a little closer to our guest is Tyran Shine. It's Shine Automobile Detailing, and we'll give you all the names and numbers and all that kind of stuff before we get too deep into the show. But yeah, more coming back. It's Ron's turn. What do you got?
What do I have about what?
Well,
What?
question. We thought maybe you had a question.
Oh no, I think we're pretty much done with the segment. We're gonna take a break.
Yeah. Okay. So with the windshield view, we'll be right back with Tyran Shine.
Yeah,
Horsepower
sir.
Color Rust.
all of
Thank
that
you.
and a whole bunch more. And we want to see pictures of your dog.
I got some now.
He's got pictures of the dog. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, we are, and back with the second half of the Windshield View on Horsepower, Chrome, and Rust. And let's get back to the conversation with Tyran about detailing. And one of the things I wanted to kind of go into is are the steps that go into detailing. Because, I know that I tend to wash the car first, wipe it down, work on the interior or exterior first, and then turn around to the interior. But there may be a better way of doing that. Why don't you explain your approach to how you go about detailing a car?
See, the way I usually go about it, if I'm going to do a full detail to it, I just go and I'll wash that thing down real good, just how you would regular wash a car, just wash it real good, scrub it down. Make sure, because you got to buff it, so you got to make sure you don't leave nothing extra on there. So wash it real good, and then while it's drying off or whatever, I'll go in the inside. Because I got to let all that water drip off of there. So I'll do the inside. I'll do your shampoo, the seats, the floors, the doors, the windows. Let it smell good. Shut it down. Then I'm on the outside. Then I start your buff. If it's black, I do a 3-step process. Or not even just black. Like any colors that's dark, I do a 3-step process. I buff, polish, and then I do a hand wax. Just to make sure it's good, because them darker colors, They need to last long, and it's a little harder than a light color like a white or a gray, So,
well, plus you can see any swirl or any mark.
Yeah,
dark blue or purple or black. That's
another reason, that's why you got to do that 3-step, because that polish is the most important part.
Step back. What do you mean buffing? What do you mean about buffing? Are you using compound?
Yeah,
or
buffing with the compound. You might like some cars might need a little heavy cut. Just depends on how many scratches they got, because I take off.
Do you do
scratches.
any clay blocking?
Yeah, if I feel like the car need it, then I will. But 9 times out of 10, they're pretty decent out here. Most people come with the newer cars, so I really don't even really have to really buff them. So I might just do like a light banana wax on it, just because I like the paint. I want the paint to stay as fresh as possible.
Right.
I don't believe in just buffing it just to buff it.
Okay,
you know what
sure.
I'm saying? So if you want to buff your car, and I look and I'll be like, look, man, you really don't need to buff it. If I do this and this, it'll be just as good and last just as long, So I'll do it. I'll tell you. But if you really want it buffed, then I will. But, I don't really like to buff too much because, like I said, it takes down paint every time you do that. So
yes,
I want
you do.
To stay looking fresh and as shiny as possible.
Now, do you attack the engine bay? Because I'm a very big believer of a clean engine tends to make your engine run better.
If you want that, I got that. I can do that for you, no problem. I know how to do it all. So not a lot of people don't want you touching the motors, and a lot of people do. So like you said, when you get to more show cars and stuff like that, yes, I have the tendency to do all that, wheel wells, all the wheels. If you need me to take the wheels off to clean them, I can do that. So, it can get down, and it gets real, it can get deep. But right now, we're just kind of still at a basic because just for the regular customers,
So when you do an engine, what are the tricks? Because I know sometimes if you do it not the right way, you can get water in areas that you don't want to get it into, and all of a sudden the engine doesn't start up so well.
Yeah.
It takes time to get that everything dried. So explain kind of the details you use, what kind of chemicals or whatever that you would use.
The main thing on the engine bay is degreaser. You just got to get that degreaser and get it on there right, nice and how it's supposed to be, and when you get that pressure washer, just get it off of there. Like I like to just get on there and get off of there real quick. And whatever you miss, just get you a rag, man, and just go back and wipe it down.
One thing that I know a lot of people, especially about engine degreaser, if you miss any, then the engine it smells funny for a week.
Yeah,
you got to get all that stuff off of there.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
too. So So if you spraying it heavy in the spot, you got to know where you spraying it heavy at, so you can go back and get it. Make sure you get it all off. And like I said, you miss anything, just go back and get a rag, get you a microfiber, and wipe it down.
So is there something different that you'd use for like plastics? Because there's a lot of plastic and.
No, I basically use the same. I just on my chemicals, the way I dilute it. So just some I got heavy and some I got just kind of light. So just depending on, like I said, I always look at what I'm doing first, and then I just go from there.
Sure.
And do you use a professional grade products that you're using that are made for professional detailers like yourself versus, let's say, you just go in the store and buy something off the shelf?
Yeah, I usually, you can go to AutoZone, they got everything for you, but I usually get my stuff off a chemical truck. So
Okay.
I got a couple chemical dudes on the chemical trucks I use, and I'm a professional, so I got to use professional products, man.
Sure.
Right on.
I got two questions. One of them is about the interiors. Are there particular spots in the interior of a car where you know you're always going to find, stuff that most people don't get out of, like the wheel? I mean, the seat tracks, or like you said earlier, down the back of, in between the bottom of the back of the seat, in front of the seat, like
the
that.
The side of the seat, right between the seat belt.
Yeah.
That's the most people.
I just did that.
It
was all caked up with dust and everything. Yes.
Everywhere
the gum
I go,
wrappers and the French fries.
Everywhere I go, people. That's the main people. People don't even really care about if the rest of the car is clean.
Yeah.
Just get the side of my seat, please, because I cannot get that.
Well, plus when you open the door,
and right there,
you can see like, that's a little ugly.
Have you ever taken the seats out of a car?
Well, I haven't personally, but if they want to get down like that and they willing to pay, then
sure,
I'm with it.
Okay.
I'm with it.
The other question I was going to ask you is about show cars, particularly. We've got a lot of folks who listen who have like serious show cars. They're going to get ready to put their car in a show. They may spend 2 days just detailing the thing out so that it's literally perfect. The undercarriage, they'll put a mirror under the car,
Sure.
in the display, and that's a lot of work. You do stuff like that. I mean, is that something that you're down to do?
I haven't really just got to do a show car like that, but if somebody wants it done and they want to contact me, then I can do stuff like that. No problem.
Do you have your own steam cleaner?
Car?
No, I don't have my own steam cleaner
yeah.
yet.
You have a power washer?
Yeah, I got a power washer, and usually I just do mobile, so I just use. I usually do a lot of hand washes.
Okay.
So I make sure it's good, just like
because if you're doing the undercarriage, you got to be steam cleaning that sucker underneath there to break all that crap up there.
See what we need to do for Tyran, we need to let you know when the next shows and stuff that we're going to be at are, so you show down there and get your cards on everybody's windshield.
Yeah. That's the thing to do right
Pick
there.
some business up that way.
I keep cards for you.
I know. Well, we got them here. Speaking of which, let's do this. The name of the company is Shine Automobile Detailing, and it's the number, which we're going to put on the page along with the show, is 425-997. No, wait a minute. 425-299-7900. You gotta print these things with bigger numbers for us old guys. I
Flip
can't
it
see.
over. I can see it from here.
Oh wait, it's if
There you
only
go.
I can see
There
it
you go.
from
Hold
here.
on, man.
I had
Hold on.
flipped it over, then I would know. Yeah.
I gotta make sure it's right for everybody needs.
Yeah,
man.
well, when you got eyes like mine, you believe me, this is the side I should be looking
Flip
at.
it
But yeah,
over.
we'll make sure that it's on there so people know.
So Tyran, you are a mobile.
Yeah.
And
Yes, sir.
a lot of the guys I knew do mobile because it's easier to go to where they're at. It keeps you from having to own a shop. You just have a van. I take it you got a van.
Yeah, I just got my car right now. I use my car, so that's how I'm getting around. But I'm looking into getting the transit real quick.
Yeah, those things are
I've been hearing
the
about those.
deal these days. Yeah, because everybody's using them.
Because I don't really have to have a lot of products with me, so I don't really need that much stuff when you're doing full. So but I'll get it done.
So you will go to, let's say I hire you. You come out, you use my hose, and then you've got your products, and you just scrub things down.
All I need is your hose, your electricity, and just leave me be for a few hours. And when you come back out, you'll be looking at a new car.
Nice.
So let's walk me through maybe one of the most challenging jobs you've had so far.
Oh, there you go.
Where you've kind of taken something that was pretty crusty and well ensconced in whatever dirt it had, and then brought it back to a really...
You don't have to name any names.
No names.
I'm trying to think, man. Well, because here lately it's been kind of good, so I haven't been gritting my teeth too much, but I did this little bug a while back. It was red and it was pretty oxidized down, man. It took me it probably took me just 4 or 5 hours just from just buffing it on the outside, and that's a bug, a little 2-door bug, a little beetle.
I did that with my son's 2600 truck. I took 10 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
Just literally.
But oxidized paint is really hard.
It was oxidized.
It's like polishing. Yeah, it's like polishing a rug.
Man.
There's a lot of.
But when I got done with it, it was like a cherry. That mug was all nice and red, man.
Beautiful.
It was pretty. I got it, and I have I got it on my Facebook page too, so you can see all
Before and
those
after.
pictures. Before and after,
Nice.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna link to Tyran's Facebook page too.
Okay,
now
now
you're local to Linwood, North Seattle, basically. What's the distance that you might go?
I mean,
Good question.
well, As long as you paying, I really don't have a difference right now.
Well,
because
I just came back from Idaho. You're not going to drive that far.
I mean, if you got the money, I will pull up.
I got a big question. This is a huge one. Sap.
Oh yeah,
Tree sap, pine
there you
sap.
go.
That is the hardest. It ruins the paint. I've come to using alcohol very carefully with a cotton ball because I can't find any solvent to do this.
That's another thing too, man. I done seen people pull up because they didn't try to scratch the sap off with their razor blade.
Oh yeah,
No.
So they
Oh, yeah.
messed their paint up.
Now your paint's
so
gone.
now I got to
Yeah.
get scratches out.
But talk about how you get sap, because that's huge in our area.
Yeah, like I said, man, I get my stuff off at the chemical truck, the professional chemical
Yeah.
truck, and he got everything you need on there, man. So it's just finding the right thing to get that off, man. They got a lot of stuff just like sap remover. So
Yeah.
you
Well,
just
pine-
gotta find the right one, man. Like all that scratching it off, it don't work.
No,
Like,
I
yeah.
used, like I said, a cotton ball with a little thing and just keep slowly. Don't
Same.
push down on it. Just kind of keep
Yeah,
working it.
Same
pine
thing
sap
with that,
from
same
pine
thing with
trees.
that tar, man. Same
Yeah.
thing with tar, man.
Yes.
You can wash your car a million times and then it never come
No.
off.
Yeah.
But that's why you got people like me.
Okay.
Well,
Call
bug
me, I'll get
bug
it
and
off
tar
for you.
remover
So
is,
after
is
the
a different
show,
chemical. Pine
no
sap
ca-
is actually now I lost it. Turpentine. That's pine sap. Turpentine is made from pine sap.
Right, I
so
got some, but
turpentine
it-
will take off
Oh yeah, it takes off paint.
pine sap,
It-
but it also takes off the paint. You got to be
yeah.
real careful with
Yeah.
it. But birch sap is completely different.
Yeah, that's
and it
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
work. I know this from personal experience. We used to live in a place that had birch trees on the parking strip, so it'd drip on everybody's
Ugh.
car.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, man, now I'm. You can't get. It's like rubbing on sandpaper.
Yep.
You try to wash it.
And you got to get
Braille.
those things
Feels like
off too.
braille
Yeah.
on your car.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You do, because that's what I spent 10 hours on my son's truck. It had all this pitch on it everywhere. And it
time consuming.
was time, and I did the clay block and everything and brought it back. And then it was 2-3 hours just sitting there going over each one of those
Yep.
things
That's
and
how
not
it is.
ruining the paint.
Yeah.
Because you'll
That's how
melt
it
the
is.
paint if you're not
Exactly.
careful.
Yep.
Then it was
a lot of
buff.
time, man. It's just really
Yeah.
all it comes down to is time. That's the reason why it can be expensive, because of just the time. Like,
Sure.
it's just not just washing it; it's just taking the time.
He's not
to
parking
get
under
it
that
right.
tree anymore, is he?
Yeah, there's that.
We have a big one in our cul-de-sac, and it just kind of blows into wherever.
The
So-
worst.
So the other question I had is, what was maybe one of the what's been a couple of your highlights of kind of cars you've got to do lately?
Let's see.
Any big bling cars?
Not really just big bling. I did a lot of muscle cars, little around here. I did a couple challenges around here that I like
nice.
pretty nice. I did this nice little purple one. I liked his pretty much. He had the big boy motor in it, but I mean, just by looking at it, you wouldn't tell. But you know, when you walked up on it, you was like, yeah, that was clean. So I did a couple of those, couple big time Lexuses around here. You know, I kind of got the little thing for these admin moms group. They kind of got a thing for me washing their cars. So
Oh,
I've been doing a lot of their cars for them here lately. Yep.
That's you. I got
Yep.
him here.
Yep.
Right on.
Shine
So-
Auto Detailing.
Yeah, a lot of things like that, man. So
I'm going to your photo.
so
your photo
you're
thing.
and you've been doing it for like 2 years. You said up
well,
there.
just 2 years up here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I've been doing this all my life. So it's like I said, it's nothing.
But you're
to me.
making a living out of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
now
there-
I'm just making them
doing what he
now.
loves.
That's the only difference now. I'm putting it into my full day schedule. This is what I'm doing all day, every day. You know what I mean? Not doing nothing else. I'm doing detail.
And how
This
do
is
you-
great. Now I got to break in.
Okay.
This is off of Tyran's Facebook page. One of the first pictures in his thing is a before and after. I don't know what kind of car it is. I can't see it clearly, but
Cadillac.
is it a Cadillac? Oh, it
Yes,
is because
sir.
I can see the
And he was one of the dudes from
August 30th. So this is just like
a
you know
car
not long
club
ago.
too. I forgot what
Yeah.
kind of car club he was in.
You see
though.
the difference.
Oh yeah.
The after is like a mirror. That's
Yeah.
pretty nice. And it's black.
I like
So
to tell them you could do for all the ladies, you could do your makeup on the outside of your car.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't need the mirror no
Well,
more.
and
Oh, you got the inside. Look at that.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The layering adds
Telling ya.
dimension to the paint.
Yes.
And that's what, you put the best paint on there, and they always say, it's not just the paint, it's the wax and the buffing and everything,
how you come out.
how you
yeah.
come out on the other side, and you protect everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
my son's doing a little bit of work on his old Crown Vic, and he just did flat black paint on it to get rid of all the other crap. And now he's got all this, the chrome and the aluminum, and he's going to do the really fine, I guess it's the steel wool. And you start out with a steel wool, and you really buff it out, and then you still have to put your waxes and everything on there because it'll pit out if you don't.
You got to get that shine to come out. Like that's the thing. Like I said, it might be dual when I start, but just depending on how it is, we might can bring a little shine back to it, man.
It's going to look nice.
Yes,
and so I just want to say thank you for coming in. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, no. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
And I got to say, go to Shine Auto Detailing on Facebook and go to his page, go to his photo page, because there's some amazing pictures in there, some of the stuff that you've done. The cover photos are great, but the mobile uploads, there's 200 or so pictures in there. Some
there you
really
go.
nice stuff.
Oh, yeah, we do work, man. I do work. I don't just sit around, man. Like I said, this is what I do for a living now.
It's all gorgeous. And the price is right too. I mean, this one is. I'm not gonna. Well, I will quote it, but there's a kill on it. $40 exterior wash and wax. $50 outside the county.
Wow.
That is golden, friends. That is absolutely golden.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks for being on. This is the greatest automotive information show in the known world, and a great hot rod story coming up next to share with your friends on Horsepower, Chrome, and Rust.
It's time for Car Confidential. My glasses got all fogged up here. We're back with another story from Fenders, Fins, and Friends.
That's right.
What's up this week, Brady?
This
Let her rip,
one,
Tater Chip.
Ron, we have special for Steve.
Oh.
Only for Steve, because this one is called the El Camino Errand.
Oh.
And I know that Steve will be paying close attention to this.
I even got my own story about errands and El Caminos.
Oh, well, I don't know if we got time for your story.
Sounds like a pickup story to me.
I think so. Some employers love to play tricks on their newest employees. Once upon a time, the new guy was me, and the trick turned out to be on my new boss. One of my many jobs in the past was as a gopher and a cleanup kid at an automotive glass and upholstery shop. Ah, yes. I would help clean up broken glass in cars. I sense a blinker fluid story coming. I'd remove windshields, strip out interiors, sweep the floors, do any other menial jobs that needed to be done. It was easy work, and it involved cars, so all was well. Best of all, the company had a new 1966 Chevy El Camino shop truck. It looked great. It was a stylish vehicle to run errands in, even if the errand had all of my coworkers laughing behind my back. Little did they know it was me who was laughing at them, he thinks. Lance likes to pretend that he's never been taken advantage of.
That's right.
I happened to, well, never mind. The company had two branches. One was located in Lakewood, just south of Tacoma. The other was located in downtown Tacoma. And one slow day, I was asked to drive from the Lakewood shop to the Tacoma shop to pick up the glass stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I worked with mold stretchers before.
Yeah, so the glass stretcher. The box said that this tool could be clamped on one end of a sheet of glass and then pulled to stretch the glass.
Right.
Yeah. The other employees listened to him. They tried to contain their laughter. Okay, I said, while thinking of the fun time soon to be spent in that new blue El Camino. I could hardly contain my own laughter. Of course, off I went on the supposedly fool's errand. Well, the drive between shops was about 5 miles if the most direct route was taken. The problem with the direct route, it didn't include the city's best cruising street, 6th Avenue. This north end strip of asphalt and concrete was where all my friends chose to drive their cars during the daily sojourns up and down this main drag between the city's east and west ends. So the usual tour included stops at Frisco Freeze at the east end and King's Drive-In at the west end and Bush's Drive-In in the center. The Freeze was where my crowd spent their posing time, and that's exactly where the El Camino headed. Totally out of Lance's control. He had nothing to do. The car just drove him.
I've been there. It's a pretty cool restaurant.
Yeah. So it wasn't on the direct route, of course, to the Tacoma branch of the glass shop, but I didn't care. What was important to me was to show my new wheels to friends and to hang out for a short time. So down 6th Avenue I cruised in the El Camino, passing Kings and Bushes on the way to Frisco Freeze. It was lunchtime, and a few friends were enjoying burgers in the parking lot. They admired the new Chevy glass hauler and laughed when I told them about me being so gullible as to fall for the glass stretching story. Ha, ha, They understood what an easy decision it was to make: stay in the shop and clean up broken glass and bits of worn upholstery, or take an hour and have a burger and cruise the shop's chariot. I finished the burger, I said goodbye to friends, I headed to the downtown shop. They'd been tipped off that I was coming to pick up the glass stretcher, and they waited in anticipation of my humiliation. Well, I'm here to get the glass stretcher, I said. They need it at the Lakewood shop. They gave some excuse as to why it was not there and sent me back. Off I went to retrace my cruising route back to the other shop, which of course included passing by the triad of drive-ins. Upon my return, the manager asked what took me so long. With a smirk, I said, well, not being sure if there really was such a thing as a glass stretcher, I decided to stop at the Frisco Freeze and check with some of my car buddies. They have never heard of such a tool. He then realized that he'd provided me excuse for a 2-hour break at the company's expense. The glass stretcher was never mentioned again.
And he got away with it because
that'll learn him.
Sure.
But the boss probably totally just chuckled and went, he outsmarted us.
He was too smart for us. That kid, that punk kid. You know, Fenders, Fins, and Friends is just one of Lance's books, and the subtitle is Confessions of a Car Guy. And, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it from the Vintage Vehicle Show website. And Lance, he's nice enough to let us, have fun with his stories and poke fun at him periodically. I have to say, I watch, Lance and I are friends on Facebook. We're friends in general. I'm happy to have him as a friend. And I keep watching his garage, which we all know is better known as the Garage Mahal.
Yes.
He's been posting more pictures of it on there lately because I think he's using it to lure pinup models in to take pictures of Henry the Hillman.
Yes.
He's got a Hillman Minx.
He actually let me put my hot rod in his garage.
Did he?
And we had the Pinup Angels come in and
right.
did a photo shoot in his garage for our third car show at the Triple Extra Beer Drive-In.
Yeah.
Actually, the third one.
He claims that garage draws women and who tried to take advantage of him to let them take pictures in his garage.
There's some
I think he's embroidering that just a little bit, but it is a pretty nice garage.
It is. Well, speaking of Triple X,
yes,
Camaro versus Firebird Outlaw Rolling Rally Triple X Root Beer Drive-In is going on this weekend on the 13th.
Yeah.
And if you want more information, go to Western Washington Firebird's Facebook page, or Pacific Northwest Camaro Club Facebook page, or the Northwest Thirds Gen Facebook page, or Sir William Wallace. And I got this little email, and they just said, and it's really cool. They start out, they're going to have a breakfast at the Triple X.
Yep.
Everybody is independent, taking care of themselves.
That's right.
And then
it's not a show.
It's not a show.
It's
then they're going to drive to the next location.
Distancing.
They're going to go to a park. And then they're going to hang out there. Then they're going to go to the Pacific Raceway.
Nice.
And then they're going to come back at 3 in the afternoon to 3 o'clock, thereabouts, and end up having lunch, late lunch at the Triple X.
There
and
you
there'll
go.
be just some hanging out, some additional things going on. But it's just
a
coincidental
meeting of
but
several people with cars.
It's the Camaro versus Firebird Outlaw Rolling Rally. And
there is an event notification on Facebook that's going around for the thing. It's got a couple of great pictures.
It's on
of
Saturday or Sunday?
13th,
yeah. That's Saturday, isn't it? I think it is. Steve is looking. None of us have a calendar. We don't know what day. I don't know what day it is.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday.
That's my birthday.
Sunday. You'll pay for the whole chair, but you only need this.
So it's my birthday actually on that day too.
Happy birthday, Steve!
Really? Yeah. Now you're 78, right?
61.
The Nathan Lipinski weekly trivia question is next.
Oh, it is.
And a peek at the next week's
But
show.
Ron,
That's
we've
right.
still got more to go on this.
But that's
segment.
okay. He's right. And the Nathan Lipinski weekly automotive trivia question is very special this week.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you why. But it is.
Well, put it in park and stick around.
We'll be here. We are going to be here. By the way, speaking of cruise-ins, I have to say, I did go to, I sort of tagged along to
you were Coeur d'Alene over on the weekend.
I spent the weekend in Coeur d'Alene. And I saw, it's already up on the show page, there is the coolest hearse I have ever seen. I ran into this guy. His name is Ron Detmer, and his hearse is just the pimp. It's an 80-something Cadillac hearse.
Right.
You should see the paint. I wish I could have gotten better pictures.
It's all flamed out.
It's flamed. The thing is like miles deep, and the pictures that I took really don't do the thing justice. It's amazing. He won a couple of trophies at the show.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, it's if you haven't been to the Facebook page, the Horsepower Chrome.
I gotta ask. I mean, I'm not a big Hurst fan. It's just not my thing, but I do appreciate when somebody takes something and just beautifies it and transforms something like this into a rolling piece of art.
There's
so
a Facebook page
that
is just for hearses. And literally, it's called hearses. And go there.
Wasn't it the Munster Mobile or the Addams family that had the hearse?
It was coffin car.
Coffin car. Yes,
that was Grandpa's car.
Grandpa's car.
Right.
Yes,
it wasn't really a hearse.
No.
The big car that was sort of a hearse, but it really wasn't. Both of those were Roth cars, and I just can't beat them.
7 T's, bucket T's to build that.
Wow,
that's right,
Mr. Coach.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it again. Nathan
again.
Lipinski Weekly Trivia question is next, and put it and a sneak peek at the show. Next week's show. Put it in park and stick around. We got it.
We got
it.
Help us if you can. You're an El Camino man. Only you can understand.
We tried. When we first started this show, we tried to get Steve not to put this song on there. No, we did not very hard because he really likes it, and it's a great
cool,
tune.
huh?
It is Around the
It sticks with
Wheel.
you.
This is where we talk about upcoming events in the Nathan Lipinski Weekly Automotive Trivia Question, which we kind of already teased a little bit in the last segment because Ron wants to talk about it twice, and that's good. So I have to say, the guy that had the hearse that I saw in Coeur d'Alene over the weekend, I said his name was Ron Detmer. It's Ed Detmer. I've got it written here. I should have remembered.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, what a great guy. I think it's the coolest hearse in Idaho.
It's pretty cool.
He drove up from Boise, super car, and it's a guy with a sense of humor. So he's got the hearse. He's got a couple of surfboards on the top that's part of the shtick, and he does the Dewey Weber surfboard shirt, and then he's got a skeleton, sort of semi-dead zombie guy.
Who needs a Woody when you got a Hurst?
What hearse? There's no
hearse.
T.
Thank you.
Hurst is the shifter.
That's a shifter.
Hearse is the car.
Thank you.
Anyway, he's got this dead guy, skeleton zombie guy that sits in the passenger seat. And, of course, because he can do this, he put a mask on the guy.
Nice.
Of course, this is perfect. It's good. So we talked about it. But the point I was making here was not so much that he had a cool car, which he did, but he also knew. He says, so what's up? And I told him, well, I got this podcast, Horsepower, Chrome, and Rust. And he says, Oh, is that yours? And I said, well, yeah. And he says, I've listened to it a couple of times.
Nice.
One of the guys in his club apparently listens. I didn't even get the guy's name. I should have. But he said, don't you do some question every week? I said, yeah, it was the trivia question, the Nathan Lipinski. And he says, yeah. He said, you asked how many cars were sold in Japan, American cars were sold in Japan. And I said, yeah, that was last week's question.
Oh, wow.
And he says, well, I don't know how many it was. He says, but I know the secret to the answer. And so the question last week we asked was, how many American cars were sold in Japan in 1995? And the answer isn't all that impressive. It's just 97,000 cars. He didn't know that, but he knew why I asked. These are cars by the big three. So they sold 97,000 cars in Japan in 1995. The reason that's important is that year was the first year that Japan sold more cars here than we sold there.
Oh.
That was the trick.
Ding,
and,
ding, ding,
and
ding,
he
ding.
knew it. Ding, ding, ding. So, Ed, you're going to get your name next to the picture of the Horsepower Chrome and Rust Barn Find dust can, which we have right here that Ron is holding up as though it was a prize in something. So we'll put that on there this week. and congratulations to him for running. Next week's question is very cool. It is even almost as good. Where did I do it? I just had it. Now I lost it. Oh, Chrysler got a great big start in the car business. Different from what you might think. How did they get their start? If you know, you can get to us at contact us at horsepowerchromeandrust.com. Ron knows. You can also send us a Facebook post or message. Either way, it's all good. And you too could win the coveted certificate of Horsepower Chrome and Rust Barn Find Dust. We reach over 1 million enthusiasts every week. We're still the top 10 of the automotive podcasts on Podomatic. We thank you for that.
Congratulations.
You can email the show at contact us at horsepowerchromeandrust.com. chromeandrust.com, or you can message us on Facebook. We thank you for liking and following our Facebook page, because otherwise we'd be here by ourselves and kind of lonely. We are on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and as we all say, Stitcher, TuneIn, PlayerFM, PODBAY, Castbox. I don't even know what these guys are, but apparently they're sharing our show, so that's all good.
I heard something very interesting. I got a little post from Podomatic, and there are some supposedly pirate groups out there that are taking these things and they put them on their own group. Don't say anything about you, and then they throw their own advertising in there.
Low life scum.
So I'm kind of like, well, I'm at a point where I don't care where it's aired. The more, the merrier.
If you're pimping the show for us, that's all good.
Yeah. And we got big news maybe somewhere down the road, because I can't say a darn thing.
No, you can't.
And if it goes through, then I will explain. But in the meantime, there's some things in the wicks. So
yeah, cool. We are also on YouTube, so if you want to see actually what we look like, frightening as that may be,
this will be up there.
You can check that out on that. Hey, thanks to Tyran Shine Automobile Detailing. There you go. We'll say that again.
Thank you very much, buddy.
And
good luck
for
to you,
Ron
man.
Foreman
That's awesome.
and Steve Johan, I'm still Brady Wright, saying keep your eyes on the road, your hands on the wheel, and your foot to the floor. Drive fast, take risks, cruise on by next week for another Horsepower, Chrome, and Rust.
Do it.